In the keyboard industry, Keychron is one name that is going to be on a lot of people's lips. So today we're going to be looking at the Keychron K12, which actually is the first ever mechanical keyboard I've ever owned. Let's talk about it. So just before we get into the video, I just wanted to say I am so sorry for taking 4 weeks to release a video. I had a pretty stressful exam that I had to prepare for, and by the grace of God, I passed that. And I've actually got another one coming up in 2 weeks, but that should not stop me from releasing another video after this one. This week I've actually got some free time, so I'm definitely going to be able to record more than one video this week and make sure I get it out to you within the next 2 weeks. So I'm very sure I will send that video out, and I don't think I'll let the next exam stop me from releasing a video. So sorry about that, guys. Anyway, on to the review of this lovely keyboard. Right, so quick unboxing, guys. All right, so when it comes to this is basically how it looks. A really nice looking box. Take that to the side, then immediately you're got with a quick setup guide. All right, basically Bluetooth, cable, and then it's also basically saying how you can change the light effects, how you can disable auto sleep mode, the multimedia function keys, because it's 60%, remember that, so it will have multimedia function keys, especially for Mac because this is Mac compatible, how to turn off and on the backlight, and how to remap the keys. Okay, so as it even says here, officially Keychron do not have their own app that you can remap the keys. It was basically said that they were planning on doing that with this one, but that doesn't seem to be happening. It may happen with the new one that they're basically trying to develop. If I'm not mistaken, it's called the Keychron Q1, and that's a fully customizable one as well. So that may be what they're trying to do with that one. I'm not 100% sure. But for Mac, you're basically going to be using Carabiner, and if you're using Windows, it's Sharp keys. Okay, again, it is Linus certified as well, or you can use it for Linus as well. And then factory reset. Okay, put that to the side. Nice little foam. Then these are basically your keycaps, the extra keycaps, as well as for you to be able to move over to Windows. As you can see, you've got Alt, and then the little Windows key there as well. You've got a USB-C to USB-C cable here with a little right angle to the side there as well. It's a bit on the chunky side, the right angle, but hey, what can you do? And then you've also got the switch as well as the keycap remover as well on the side. And then if we just get that out in a really nice little plush plastic bag, you've then got the keyboard. Oh, can't wait. Right, and then basically you've just got a little manual in there telling you exactly what you need to know about the keyboard, which I think is fairly handy. Cool, right. Moving on to how this actually looks like. So I got this off the Kickstarter campaign, all right, and I basically got the hot-swappable version, and it's the optical keyboard with brown switches. Okay, that is what I wanted. I know Marcus Brownlee also said he got the brown switches. I wasn't entirely sure which one to get, and I opted for the brown switches, and honestly, I am very happy with my choice. So basically, this is what you get on the side here. You've basically got the tab there for Mac or OS, Mac or Windows, and then you've also got the Bluetooth off and the cable version on as well. And then that's basically where you put the USB-C port. On the back there, as you can see, you do have the stands as well as the little rubbers on the side there as well. Basically, they are somewhat rectangular, so they do give it a bit of a low profile. I do know some circular ones do give it a bit higher, but it's not really that big of a deal to my knowledge. And that's basically how the keyboard looks. It's got the normal Keychron two-tone type, and the one that I opted for was the gray one, not the white and gray, and that's basically what I've got here. I do like this little escape on the side there, but you can swap it out, as you can see there, with the little escape. But let me put back my little K K for Keychron. Anyway, so that's basically how it looks, and personally I think it looks really nice. The keys as well are OEM as well, so nothing too fussy about that. And if you basically don't know what OEM stands for, it basically means that on the sides there it's flat and on the middle it's curved, basically to help with the tip of your finger basically going down and up. Just trying to make it a bit more comfortable. Okay, and as you can see here, it is a 60% keyboard. Okay, so that means you do not have dedicated up, down, left, right arrows, delete, home, and end buttons. All of those, you basically have to hit the function key there and then basically tap those there. So because of that, functionality and movability isn't isn't like other ones, like maybe a 75%. I prefer a 75% keyboard, but it's not really as the other ones. But apart from that, I mean, I've personally really enjoyed using it. The function keys, as well as you can see, or the multimedia keys there, if you're a Mac user like I am, that's basically up there. So when it's yellow, you have to press function 1. If it's that other one, you have to press function 2, but then function 12, example, F12, F11, that's more for Windows as well. But yeah, you've got the caps key there that goes on and off, as you can see. You've got the shift, and everything's basically laid out for you there. Okay, now moving on to the switch. Basically moving on to the switches. Now, before we talk about the switches though, I do want to quickly talk about the bezels, okay? Because I think it would be a disservice to talk about the switches without talking about that first. Now, to basically explain what I mean by bezels, basically what is going on around here, okay? You got the plastic version, which this is, as well as the aluminium version, okay? Now, the aluminium version is basically a bit more bold, strong, and it is heavy as well, okay? But it does give a more recessed look to it, and people have complained about it because previously, with that as well, you do get a bit of a floating key effect, okay? So you can basically see the switches underneath there. So as you can see beneath that one, you can't really see them as much, but I'm told with the aluminium version, you do get a bit more floating with them, and you can see that in a lot of other keyboards as well. So I didn't really want to go with that, so I decided to get with this one, okay? So that's basically why I wanted this one, as well as it being more lightweight. And I'm really just going to be taking to the office or just using it at home and stuff like that. So I didn't really need the aluminium version as much as I think other people needed it. So I basically just went with that, okay? Now, when it comes to the switch, I basically went for the brown optical switch, okay? Now, the brown optical switch is basically, it's quite gentle. Okay, the sound is quite gentle. We're going to do a sound test later on, and it's basically midway in between office and gaming, and that's the main reason why I basically went for this. Okay, if you're looking at just basically to let you know exactly what's going on, if you're looking at red switches, it's more for office and gaming. If you're looking at blue switches, it's more for typing and stuff like that. If you look at the banana switch, which is really for Keychron, you're looking again at another midway point for office and gaming, as well as the mint switch as well. But I went for the brown switch with this one. Okay. Now the pre-travel for this is 1.8 plus or minus 0.5 millimeters. When you look at the travel distance as well, that's 4 plus 0.5 millimeters as well. And then when you're looking at the operating force, is 57 plus or minus 10 GF. Okay, so some very good numbers going on around there. But again, I'm not a professional gamer or anything, so I don't really need the fastest response times or anything. So for me, this does plenty good. Okay, now the switches, personally, I really like them. They're not too loud. They're really nice to type with. They're not really that loud, so the people around you are not really going to complain as much. So that's really good. They're quite comfortable to type with. As it is 60% though, I have had to get a bit used to it as well, because it is also a mechanical keyboard and I've never really had one. I've actually really had to get used to typing with this as well, and it is a bit raised as well, so I do use a wrist rest with that as well, because you don't really want carpal tunnel and everything, so I do have a wrist rest there as well. But apart from that, it is a really solid keyboard. The keys are really good as well. Now, word of warning, even if this is hot swappable, that basically means you can remove the switches. When it comes to optical switches, it is a bit of word of warning basically to remove them, simply because there are not that many options of optical switches, so you don't really want to mess the keyboard that you've basically earned and use your hard-earned dosh on it to basically ruin your perfectly good keyboard. So you can do it, don't get me wrong. If you know exactly what you're doing, please go for it. I don't really know what I'm doing, so I'm not even going to do that unless if I really read more into it. So if you have the confidence to do it, I mean, yeah, go for it. Happy days. But personally, I'll just stick to what it is right now, because I think it's really good, and I personally really enjoy it. Now, we're just basically going to do a quick look at how this basically looks, and just a quick test, okay? So look at that. Okay, caps lock. Enter, shift. The insert is not working, weirdly enough, but try that one. No, that's fine. In any case, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then that would be if you're really trying to use the Windows, but that's basically just showing you how that looks like. Cool. Now on to the sound test. Right, so what we're now going to do is the sound test. So I'm going to be as quiet as a church mouse, as they say, just to make sure that we get this going correctly. Cool, right. So I hope you've enjoyed that, guys, and I hope I've given you as much information as I could have about the keyboard. There are many pros and cons about this, but I'm not really going to go through it again because I don't really want to repeat myself and bore you guys to death. But all in all, it's a really solid keyboard. I really enjoy typing with it. I really do like the keyboard, and I've actually ordered a different keyboard as well, the Epo Maker one, and I'm basically just waiting for that to be delivered. So watch out for that. I'm going to definitely drop another video on that and actually do a comparison with this one as well. That one, if I believe, is a 75% keyboard, not like this one, which is a 60% keyboard. So that will be a pretty interesting comparison, just to show you guys the difference between a 60% and a 75% keyboard. So yeah, it's going to be pretty sick. But anyway, guys, my name is Caleb. This is KanthrHD, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.